Hey, greetings everyone. It's GleeCon, and I'm here again. Thank you for tuning in. Let's settle down and look at some art. On our last reading episode, we started the Art of Warcraft Cataclysm. We do still have a much harder to find Wrath of Lich King art book coming up. We did the main one. It did ship today, so I would expect to get it in the next couple days. Then I've got to scan it and upload it, so we might have to revisit it in a little bit. But it is, I guess it's an entire book all about the opening cinematic for the movie. So I'm curious to see how that goes. But stay a while and listen to this one as we finish up Cataclysm. Last time we did some cool, we talked about the Worgen, and we looked at obviously some cool things for old Arthas himself. And the Twilight's Hammer. Message in a bottle. Message in a bottle. Little police action. Kazan and the Lost Isles. If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. I got shipwrecked with Kazan's other uprooted goblins on some crazy place called the Lost Isles. Hostile jungle critters are making snacks out of my fellow castaways, and I have this sick feeling that I'm next. I'd go on about the strange flora and fauna here, but who cares about some dinky rock out in the middle of nowhere when my life is on the line? Let's focus on what I can do for you, and what you can do for me. See, when Mount Kajaro started spewing molten rock all over Kazan, my workshop and all the precious inventions within got blown to smithereens. Luckily, I stored the details of these creations in my noggin. Inside this bottle, you'll find every schematic to my name, free to take. You put these babies to use and you'll be living like a trade prince in no time. I only ask one tiny thing in return. Make sure the world knows who invented these gems of goblin ingenuity. You know, build a few statues in my honor, name your kids after me, that sort of thing. Quite a deal, am I right? Explorers League note, it appears that the author's name was not included on this letter or the hastily scribbled schematics accompanying it. That tracks. All right, so here we have a picture of a goblin. Looks like a goblin rogue because he's got like some both fist weapon and a dagger. Yeah, I love goblins too. They're a fun race. Yeah, just the Falls of Kazan, I guess, because it's a jungly kind of place. The beach, that's him riding a hobgoblin, I think. Some motors and little towers. A road through the jungle, and that's kind of like the bay, sort of like where you start. This is their symbol, which I like. I like how the goblin symbol includes a goblin. I guess a lot of them do that, but then you got the electric bulb and the different steam pipes and wrenches and just like the mad look, the one gold tooth. It's a good touch. Okay, more jungle, like a 2-page spread. I liked it when they were doing it side by side, and then we have some concept art for here's what a female goblin's head and hairstyles could look like. Here's a sketch of a goblin mage. Here's a just goblin in the maybe pants and a top. Whoa, big eared. So then we've got big nose. Just it's like the extremes. Like let's exaggerate some of the features. The chin's big, the ears is huge, the nose is huge. Both like a bat. And then yeah, you have that goblin rogue again. I don't know what this thing is. Some kind of weird sea turtle-ish thing. Like a volcano dragon turtle with 6 legs and a volcano on his back. Some of these little pygmies. Almost like what you end up finding in Mists of Pandaria. I guess they kind of start here. But they're rock and roll pygmies with bone drumsticks and guitar. Yeah, I guess a jungle bird. Maybe that's like ambient monsters. I don't remember fighting anything like that. And then, yeah, there's like almost like a troll, like facial Zandalari type statue. Jungle and cliffs in the background. Within the city of Kazan itself, now you've entered the industrial zone. Yeah, you've got the smog, the electricity, kind of a dirtier. You got a couple goblins in the background. I guess the jungle at night, or maybe it's a combination because this looks like some of the roadways Here you have maybe that's supposed to be a goblin king, or trade prince, rather. And some hairy little pygmy rockers still in the back. Maybe these are all the groupies. Maybe that's a pygmy. There's a little goblin explorer with a pack on his back, another pygmy. The city from afar at night, that almost looks like rendered in-game engine. Here you have a really trade princey looking goblin with a bejeweled and just over the top with his platform shoes. And hobgoblin in the background. And then a dude sitting in a thing, like a little, I don't know, it almost looks like a baby bassinet. This is like almost like a Swiss Family Robinson style, like tree with all the things built around it, and then you have another hobgoblin. It's just, what the heck? What a weird art style. Like the tiny head, tiny eyeballs, humongous ears, dragging knuckles. It's like extra, and then like it's a rocker, like a rocker hand axe. I have to replay this. I've only done the Kazan opening once or twice, and maybe only once ever. And I don't remember them having that rock and roll motif behind them. Here's, I guess, an underwater goblin. He's got his underwater suit on and a harpoon. There's some kind of dino raptor thingy. There's goblin boats. So then you have some more detailed pictures of that. Then you have like the port and wharves and all the... You have goblins hanging out on the beach in an umbrella next to like waste tunnels. And I think you see a goblin car there too. More tree houses and more long distance views. This is a cool picture. A goblin trade prince in a full mecha suit being driven. He's got his couple women chained almost like Mad Max style. And he's sitting on the top, fat and smug with his cigar. It's actually a cool picture. Really cool picture. Little goblin houses and shacks and buildings. Here's maybe an outdoor jungling. This may be a pygmy building, and they've got these weird little animals around it. And maybe this is some kind of pygmy village with the little huts and like an altar in the middle. That also looks like a mega like rock opera organ. All right, so that must be the end of that section, because now we have a worgen. That just looks awesome. Charging in to fight a goblin. I'm sorry, to fight 4 goblins. Do you like how they're always supposed to be 4v1? I saw a meme yesterday, and it was like a picture of a like level 16 Tauren standing next to like a level 60 rogue gnome. And it's like, there's something seriously wrong with this world when this guy can kick my butt. Because even in the art here, it would take 4 of these to take on a worgen, but in real, wow, 1 of those could destroy him depending on the level. All right, so now we'll look at some of the other... We've already looked at the Twilight Lands. I don't know why they went there first, but now we're going to look at the other 3 zones. So we have the Forgotten Depths of Vizir. I am a pioneer in the science of underwater exploration, a field that I have titled Observant Solganation. And so there's very little under the sea that has escaped my studies. It was during my test run of the ill-fated Fathom Scrubber X900 that I first came across the sunken night elf city of Vizir. It's beautiful in a wet, slimy, fallen down pillar sort of way, and I would have stayed to scope out the joint. I bet it's just reeking with treasure, if not for the scaly Naga brutes who had issues when my nitro probes crumbled a few of their precious reefs. Luckily, the Fathom Scrubber was armed with a fail-safe break-into-pieces mechanism that hid my hasty retreat in a cloud of oil bubbles and deliberately engineered rust. I wish I could have seen the look on their faces, but I was dodging wreckage as I floated to the surface. My inflata briefs kept me safely buoyant until I was picked up by a timely trading vessel. I plan to return to Vizir someday, and the X901 is going to teach those fish jerks some respect for science. Fisco Sizzlegrin, Professor of Observant Solganation at IOU, Income Optimization University, Kazan branch. And this is like a creepy underwater wraith. So here are those giant things that you go inside, the like sentient monsters that somehow become corrupted down there. That's that Murgle or whatever the other Murloc, the anglerfish, dark deep sea Murloc race. Here are just some undersea interior buildings along with the seabed and some Naga structures, coral reefs throughout. I actually do like this zone and storyline. A weird octopus. I mean, in the sea, look at these big risks they're taking. I guess in Dragonflight they added all of the dynamic flying. That was their big thing, which it is fun to fly that way. Underwater um, submarines with a little drill, more reef. Here's another one of those things, but kind of a different look about it. Or is this just supposed to be? I look at the little things drawn for perspective, and I think this is another one of those giant creatures. But this is more octopus with a shell on its back. Look, see, this is here they have it looking more like a hermit crab, and here you can see like the interior of the creature, how he has like a world inside him you could go into. Where's his body? I don't know. I guess you have this core right here that is like his nerve center of his brain or something. Here it's got like scorpion tails and things bursting off of him. That really leans into the Cthulhu type effect. Here is more hermit crab, if they took that angle. Same kind of thing. This is almost squid-like. So they're really playing around with the idea of what those things are going to look like. Big crab. There's an anglerfish scuttling by, some eels, the giant whale shark that's down there. Here is the vortex that's in the middle, part of the storyline. Here's these creepy little one-eyed old one tentacle things that take your brain over. They show it at the bottom of the sketch of them latching onto someone's head and taking. Oh, then it shows them eating them and moving on. But I thought they took your brain over. Here's various different ways that could look, just like that splash page of, hey, how do you like it? They don't go with really any of those. These two are the same. This has like hair. That one looks way evil. Here, the shell is kind of buried there. Yeah, here's a picture of maybe that's a creature, but it could also be somebody being taken over by one of them, depending on how you look at it. But he's got skulls in his bag. It's like if they sprouted legs and arms. Here are the weird Cthulhu crab monsters. They do kind of look like, oh, but he's gigantic. Look at him. So this is, I guess, like the equivalent of giants or ogres, more than ogres. There's Flotsam and Jetsam. This is in his mouth, a fish hook. And there's some just structures, like Naga structures. More eels or sea snakes. Some sketches. A mega, like, armored shark. I don't think that exists. There's like a Naga city. Because these are the sunken ruins of like the old Night Elf city that are now Naga cities. Here's another one of these creeps riding a jellyfish. I don't think that stands in some of his head. Oh, these are these underground, underwater goblins. The giblins, I think they're called. Giblins, I can't remember. And their little sea structure. They're so weird. But yeah, I do like for some reason, I don't know why I like it. Much as I don't necessarily love swim missions, give me a whole swim zone, and it's kind of fun. Mysteries in the Sands, Uldum. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a gnome who trusts her gut. After the first small tremors started shaking Azeroth, my instincts told me that something even bigger was on its way. Unfortunately, no one else in Gadgetstan shared my healthy paranoia of the coming apocalypse. The old codgers in the city just snickered behind my back when I decided to live in the skies over Tanaris aboard my trusty flying machine, only coming down for food and fuel when absolutely necessary. When the big one finally hit, as I'd predicted, they weren't laughing anymore. As the dunes around Gadgetstan rose and fell in waves, all those skeptics were crying like babies, while I was safe and sound high in the sky. But I didn't expect what happened next. Just over the mountain in southern Tanaris, land appeared out of thin air. Not just land, but some kind of civilization with towering obelisks and pyramids covered in strange symbols. A thought ran through my head that this might be the legendary region of Uldum. I wrote the idea off as harebrained until dozens of would-be adventurers started showing up in Gadgetstan, whispering Uldum's name and babbling on about treasure hoards hidden within the area. With all these fresh faces around, I've been making a fortune selling aerial tours over the mountains near Uldum. More importantly, those disbelievers who created me like a nut before the quake hit have begun showing me the respect I deserve. if they keep it up, I might just offer them one of my tours, maybe even at a discount. It says Klisa Gearspring of Gadgeistan, and this is how we're getting into it with this Egyptian motif. Scarabs on the walls, but also these weird magical tubes through the roof. There's some perspective there. I do like some of the quests in here, some of the Indiana zones, but also much of the zone feels barren. And then it's BFA jacked it up. Same thing how BFA jacked up the center of Mists of Pandaria. BFA jacked up this zone. I hate the need to do the chromie time to accomplish the quest. I hate that. But this is kind of a river Nile. It doesn't exactly look like this, but it's a rough sketch of how Oldham shakes out. Here are these cat people. This kind of looks like before they got hit with the Curse of Flesh, or it's just a statue. Here's a djinn. That's almost like the boss that you fight. Camels, and you can get some as mounts. Here's the oasis kind of in the middle of the desert, or just river delta kind of, and then just pictures of desert with sketches in the background. There's a Reaper dude walking for perspective. I can't remember what these cat people are called. This is an actual one. It looks like is he missing a hand? Can't tell. Like, you see the shoulder and the arm, but those look like abs. So where's his other arm? Gone? Unless it's a statue also and it's broken off. There's kind of the waterfall coming down over the Nile. Here you have like more of a mage one, and it's almost like they're centaurs. This is a cool race. This is another race I would like as a playable race. And these Egyptian head things. Yeah, they don't really give a lot of concept info. I feel like, I guess it's sort of redundant. It's kind of a uniform looking zone. Realm of Fury, the Elemental Plane. Oh, is this supposed to be Deepholm? The Titans separated our world from the elemental prison for a reason. Those walls were never meant to be breached. When my former master spoke of his home of the Sky Wall, it was always with a mixture of reverence and fury. I asked him about it once if he would take me there. His laugh knocked me to the ground. Oh no, small one, he said. That place was built to cage the northern wind, to keep the tempest in chains. A fleshling like you would be torn apart just standing at the threshold. And now the gates have been flung wide open. Vast kingdoms of fire, sea, and stone, realms equal in savagery to the Sky Wall, pour the primordial hate into our fragile land. Long did I tremble under the fist of our denizen of the elemental plains. Azeroth was shattered beneath them all. High Lord Demetrian. You know what? I'm just now realizing, after all these years, that just like Thrall's story is about his battle with the four elements, that Cataclysm zones are about the four elements. You have Deepholm, Earth. You have Uldum's Skywall taking you into wind. You have Vajir, all water. And then the Firelands burst out in the Twilight, in Mount Hyjal to give you fire. So they managed to hit a zone that really hit every single one. And then the Twilight Highlands are like void or chaos or whatever. And I don't think I'm missing any of the zones. But here you have, the elemental water. Here you have more of the temple, I guess, because this is one of the dungeons that you do under there. You do have one of them. I think maybe it's like at the bottom of that tornado, and then this giant, like, not exactly a geyser, but with a water elemental coming out of it. So it's just all about that elemental, little like weird pearly water bubble egg things you can fight. And there is a boss fight here in like this chamber, but I do like how it's like this nautical chamber. Here's the Sky Wall or whatever that prison is called, where you can fight the genie at the end. Just platform to platform, and you can get up in the sky. I think you have to fly up there. But you can have flying mounts, and that was one of the big things Cataclysm let you start flying in the real world, which is probably what necessitated a changing of the world. There you have like just one of the side boss towers. The different tree types, like an air tree, my guess is ice or water, fire, and then that's an earth tree. Just showing how that would look. This is Deepholm in the middle, so this is our one snapshots of Deepholm. I don't remember it burning at the top, but hey. This is like an underground lake. Some of the chambers of Deepholm and the like kind of earthen motif in there. A big tower pillar stretching up. I don't know if that's supposed to be the central one where your main town is, your main hub. Here's some of the bridges, and they show like a cart with an ox or something moving along. The purple, like runes, almost like Twilight. Some sketches of guys in the background, more spires, and they're glowing, that kind of phosphorescent light. Just, yeah, background look. This is maybe a picture of it opening up. It says Temple of the Elements. I don't remember where that is, but it's like all the elements combined, and here's different columns. I think that's where part of that Thrall mission happens. And here it shows it's like shining up into the roof with all the stalactites and everything at the top. Here you have more, it almost looks like Minecraft the way these things are like floating down. And yeah, they're like all converging on this one big temple, like all these rocks. Here you have like a rock elemental. I guess Deepholm does deserve more love because they didn't really do it as a zone. There's like a portal over there or something with a rock monster. Yeah, these different tunnels. There's a person trying to make their way through a tunnel. There are a lot of worm tunnels and things there. Here are these weird little truggy troll things you fight a lot down there. Trug. And then elemental. I like how it's like the pile of stones with his little blue eye, purple eye right there becomes the elemental. He's just laying there. These little stone spiders. I don't know if you fight these weird little floating. I think they detached his arms so you could see his body, but little mini elementals. Here's fire. So just a human looking at a bursted out fire, but this is probably like the fire lands. Here's another skeleton of like a fire snake and lava coming out of the burst. A fire orb, and you see some of these fire elementals around it. The fire pathway. So this is all the firelands. We don't really get to see much Twilight Highlands. I guess there's not a lot of cool concept art there. Here's just a orb of fire and some fire pillars. The Temple of Fire, the lands around it, the portal that leads into the Firelands. Yep. Here's a fire elemental. But like one of those more powerful ones that has all the bone and armor. And a little fire gem. Creatures of actual flame, it almost looks like, or it could just be flame. These are, I don't know what, this is a mage. Maybe these are like armor set concepts, or these could be, these guys look like the druids of the flame. But I don't know what these other guys are supposed to be. Mobs. Oh, this is maybe like an Uldum bandit. I don't know who this Fire Lord is supposed to be. Somebody that fights for or is Deathwing. A Twilight. This has got to be a Twilight Highland mage guy. These are different skulls, but they look like Druids of the Flame to me. There's another Druid of the Flame possible concept, and another Twilight person possible concept. Another Uldum maybe concept. This is the Twilight guy again. And again, maybe, I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's got the crystals. So it could be Twilight. Got the skull. Could be Druid of Flame. And now we just jump right into the weapons. They don't even give us a chapter for that. We just got in-game renderings of shields, hammers, halberds, guns, a couple different guns. They're almost techie too looking. Knife. There's a knife, a staff, a scythe. It's cool. Sword, bow, a couple more swords, hammer. There's some other guns. Those are some cool looking guns with scopes, and that's it. They just threw a couple of weapons at the end, gave us a few pages of colophon this time, and then to wrap it up, you get a broken with a little scythe next to a warden. Why? I'm trying to think. I guess you do. Oh, is it? Is there a dungeon? I think that's not. She's in one of the quests as a boss. I don't remember if she's part of this one. Also, what kind of broken are in Cataclysm? I'm not sure. That's the end of the book. Well, now, that's a lot to digest. I'm going to need some time to take all of this in. Thank you. I like that as a back cover for bronze be underneath the flap. All right, cool. Underneath the dust jacket. We did it. We have another episode. Yeah! And another book in the pipe, 5x5. So tomorrow, and we'll probably not. I'm not going to expect. I just got the email this morning saying the other one shipped. So my guess is we will do Miss Pandaria tomorrow, which came out in 2012. So we're not going out of like production timeline. We're just going out of timeline of the game. And then my hope would be then Tuesday, so in a couple days, few days, we'll start that one. I should have it uploaded by then. Thank you everybody so much for watching and for tuning in. You rock. See you next time on Lore of Warcraft.